Hi guys, so this is Eloise from EBG VA Services, and for today I would like to give you a short review of some of the online tools that I'm using as a virtual assistant, and I hope that this review will help some of the freelancers out there and even the clients who works with freelancers. Okay, so I have here four of the mostly used time tracker in our company. So I have here Toggle, Desk Time, Screenshot Monitor, and Clockify. Okay, I'll first show you how I love working with Toggle. One is that it's downloadable as an app on your PC or laptop. So you can see here it's on my desktop, it's pinned on my taskbar, and I have also a Chrome browser version extension. Let me just check on my extensions. I had to, yeah, so I have Clockify here. Okay, and I have Toggle here. It's on, as you can see there, and there. So if ever you don't want to download the apps here, you could download it as a Google Chrome extension. Okay, so you could also use that. Now let me just, okay, some reason I cannot see here. Oh, it's here, sorry. The only thing is, I think you need to sign in to both places in the here on their website, and then you also here in the Chrome extension in order to sync the the log time for both. So let me just, the signing up part is just easy. So let me just walk you through how I use this. This is a free version of Toggle, and I haven't really had a time to subscribe to any paid version of Time Tracker because the free versions are just fine, except for if you have like a big group of freelancers or home-based workers wherein um, you need to get more out of the reports, some controls in place as well. So I have here this timer, of course, Toggle. If you have opened it as in your browser, you should be able to um, log in your time using their website, or browser timer or tracker, time tracker. And it's easy to just put some task there, sample task for example, and it's easy for you to nominate which project or client you're working on for that particular task. And if ever you needed to group your task or group your activities into tags, you could say, yeah, meetings or marketing, efforts and stuff like that. More for later on, you're gonna use that for reporting purposes. And if say the task is billable to a client, you could easily just toggle or activate that dollar button there. That means that particular task is billable to the client, and then you just need to start your time. So if ever you're not, you change your mind, you don't want this task to be shown on your reports, then it's easy for you to just discard the time entry. Now what I like here is that on a daily basis, on your dashboard or on the time tracker view, you could easily see what you did the other days, and for which project, and if it's billable, and from what time to what time. And you have, I think this is one, you have the option to make it like a compact, like three hours and minutes and you don't show the seconds there. And if we needed to edit um, some time on bulk entry is also possible, or bulk editing is also possible. And what else? I also like the fact that you could create workspaces. So I have 3 workspaces there. Let's say if I have a client or outsourcing firm, I work for them, and all the clients that I work with that particular client goes here. And I also have my own team, so I also have my own workspace for my own team. So there, and the reports is very, easy to read, easy to follow, easy to generate. On a dashboard, the default is an weekly. This week, the current week's time tracked. It easily shows you if you wanted to group it by project, by user, or by client. And yeah, even the time entries, you could also further filter that out. Now, I also noticed that if you have set up the cost of your labor, or the salaries of your staff, you can easily see how much you will be spending for that particular week. Let's say if you're paying them for on a weekly basis, so you could easily see how much you need to pay your staff for that week. And it's easy to navigate to the previous weeks as well. And should you need to customize it, let's say your specific um, days of the month that you wanted to see how much of the time was tracked, you could actually see it like that. And it's even if, let's say, I've deleted some of my staff already, so I could still see their time here and the amount related to that time that they have put in. And I like the graphs. It's easy to also, just browse over it or hover over it and give you some more details. Then the reports could be generated on a detailed level wherein you could see the task and if it's billable and to which client, the specific description of the task that your staff did, how many hours they've spent on that task, as well as the to and from uh, time of that particular task. You can also see it on a weekly basis, like this. And if you have save reports, you could also um, you can even have scheduled reports actually. There, I was wondering if we could have like a weekly scheduled report. Like for example, I wanted to see the shoot. So this one and this one. Okay, so that's Sunday. Okay. Mhm, mhm. Oh, it could just give you a week words of time. Okay, so let's see. I want this week, for example, and yeah, you can save it and lock the dates if you want, and you could share it to your other teams by choosing private or public. And yeah, you can still email this one, but that's an upgraded version. If you wanted to email, maybe just download it and email it after. So let's see. So I would lock it this way because I wanted to make sure that nobody else would be manually putting in back some time, and just for control purposes, I know that okay, for this week this was the number of hours I was expecting, and then if I check it on the other time, I'll be able to see that, oh, what's the difference, or anything that has happened. Has anyone manually inputted their time there? So I'm going to lock this date and create a report. Okay, now there. Then you could just share it to anybody and copy it to your email or something, and yeah. So there. Setting up of project is also easy. I usually set up as well for like uh, on a client basis. I don't have, like, for example, one client, I have two projects or something like that. But you could of course do that. Let's say you're working with a digital marketing company, and you have a marketing campaign project letter A and marketing campaign project letter B, so you could do that. So that's what this new project is all about. But for me, just to for ease of um, saving time and looking at my reports, I'll just put the name of the clients as well, because I'm doing almost the same thing in all of those clients. And of course, the clients, you could set it up here. If you have new clients, if you want to edit that particular client, I think you could just edit the name. But it is here at the project level wherein you could edit the details of the project. Like, for example, adding specific task for that project, and adding your team for that project. And you can nominate your manager. If the managers usually have like an admin access to the reports, and they could also control this and manage this project settings. And you could provide billable rates here for how much you are billing each of those staff that you have, um, how much you are billing them with your clients, how much you pay them for their salaries, and at the latter part you'll be able to see how much are you earning. Okay. Now for the clients, no, I've already discussed it. For the team, you can group your staff by, let's say you have group of admin, recruiters, uh, a team for marketing. So you could group that as well. So it's an easy new group button here, and you add the people inside. And what else? If say you have like yeah, I only have one group because these people are working in all of those clients that I have. So if let's say I have a group for only one client, like um, the one in Australia, I'll just add a group here says Australia client 1 group. Or if within that particular client you have two groups, like for you have a recruiter and you have also the operations, then it's also easy for you to add it up here. And the way for you to add them up is by inviting them um, through the emails, and then they would accept the link that is sent to their emails and sign up here in Toggle. And once they have signed in, they'll be able to see where you have placed them, which group, which project, or which client. And as I mentioned, you could also create tags. Like, let's say I would want to see all of my staff's time wherein they had client meetings. So you could create a tag about client meetings, and you'd ask your staff to, whenever they have client meetings, they also use that particular tag, client meetings. So when you do the report, it's easy for you to just filter out client meetings of your staff. Now settings, it's also easy to set up everything here. You have your logo there, your workspace name, members, the accesses of your team, their rights and everything, default billing setup, and if let's say you have similar hourly rate for a particular client, you could set it up here. Else you could set it up in the project page if it's like, for example, one client's rate is different from the other. So but by default, if you, let's say, if you didn't put any billable rate, then the default would be the one that is saved in this particular area, which is the settings. Time restrictions, yeah, you could ask your team to fill out certain fields in the time tracker to ensure that you have accurate reporting. Some of my teammates would, normally just put their task in without or forgetting about their clients or projects. So if you have this on, you could actually, so this is a premium feature. So you could actually ask and require your staff to, hey, you need to put in both of your task and your project whenever you time track. So that is a paid feature, however, one of the most important feature, I think, but it's a paid feature. And you could also lock time entries wherein, um, if they already have existing time entries, they are not allowed to manipulate or make some further edits on it. Okay, so that is also a paid feature, and this is also one good feature since we don't want people tampering their time, going back to the previous days and months just to add in more time and then later on billing you for that. And we also have time rounding reports. By default, yeah, I think it's the time is not rounded. Okay. Import and export of data. So there. And this is also, you can integrate your toggle in so many apps like Google, your Basecamp if you have one. I was actually thinking of getting a Basecamp for everyone and enabling this particular tool. FreshBook, if you use this for your accounting or bookkeeping. Toggle plan, I haven't really seen this one, though I think this is for your project or calendar management. I'm not sure, but I'll have a look at this one. And Asana, yeah, if you're using Asana for your project or task management, then you could enable it and integrate it with Toggle so that whenever you set up task there, it flows through your toggle and people could just, simply click on that task and monitor their time. So when you're in Asana and you also do your reporting there, you could easily see how much time they have spent there on those tasks and projects. And then for those in the programming or development areas, you could integrate it with your GitHub. So there, and what else? Yeah, subscription if you wanted to upgrade, it's $10 user per month. And if you have two users, and if you pay annually, it saves you $24 for a year. So I have, since I have just tried this particular plan, so I have 5 days left. Though I wonder if they are notifying me in my email or somewhere here in Toggle as well. If they're notifying me that my trial period is almost up. Okay, so later on I would probably change my information here so that I won't get billed for anything that I don't really need it to get billed. So if you have invoices, you could see here your plans is in here if you wanted to look at it. So I'm going to downgrade it now as we speak. Okay. Um, so planning to get this, but if I onboarded 2 more clients And since my team is just small, I don't think I would need a really robust or really extensive kind of subscription for now. So I'm happy with the basic, the free version. That's already fine for me. If ever I grow my team, I get more clients, I probably get that subscription. Because like I've mentioned, the features that I've mentioned before, the locking time and the access of the staff, that's really helpful, and it's kind of as something, a requirement, as a means of control, so that people don't tamper their time and see only what they needed to see in their toggle. So they also provide trainings online. So for those who are having some difficulty setting up things here in Toggle, you could have some time with their Toggle Master. They call it Toggle Master, and see how it could be customized further for your specific business needs. And yeah, Toggle. You could also use Toggle via your mobile app. And then there's also a desktop app, which is this one. Mobile apps, say you're doing social media over Instagram and you wanted to make sure you're tracking your time doing that particular task. So yeah, you need to download that mobile app. Otherwise, you could just use your desktop app or your Chrome browser extension. And then there are blogs for the, Toggle blogs, job openings that they have, and yeah, that's it. So that's how most of the I just remember most of these time tracker, the paid feature, the ones that you really need. But then if you have like a startup, you know I don't think you need them yet. So let me see if I still have my desk time. It's been a while since I used my desk time. So desk time, I think what I want or what I really like about this desk time is um, the productivity bar. I really like that part. Oh, that's good. But you could easily convert CSV to Excel. Anyways, yeah. So directly from your desk time, you could now create invoices to your clients, and you can keep track of that invoices here on desk time. So that's actually a good feature that you would want to consider. I also love this part here wherein I could see the productivity of the team. I just couldn't, I don't know if I could go to the previous months. It's been a while since I've used this time. So bear with me. I'll just try to look. Okay, I think I have it here. Okay, so there. It was like around, yeah, December when we trial this out. Um, you see, you can track the time you have arrived or you have started working, and you could also track what time you left off, and it also gives you as a user some information about how productive your day or your week was. So on an average, this is my productivity, and desk time, total desk time is this one. um, Time at work. So time at work is a total time for you from when you arrived to when you left off. Okay, it includes desk time, the offline time, and your private time. Yeah, you have private time here as well in desk time. Like for example, you wanted to, in the middle of working, you wanted to just check your Facebook page, so you just a couple of minutes or 5 minutes, so you could set your time tracker as private time. But of course, that is because you are able to see how much of Facebook checking you are doing in a week's time. So that boils down to productivity. So that's also good to have that particular feature in there. Um, and see how much or how often you are doing some private time. Then offline time, yeah, whenever you are sleeping, having a break or something like that, you could also track that and see how much idle time you have for the week. So there, that's a good. That's actually one of the features that I like here in the in desk time. Okay, so if let's say you have staff and then they are being measured for their productivity, they could easily see how they are compared to the others. So others would probably see you're second in the team, so they're, it motivates them to work harder and to get more productivity on their end. So your effectiveness, meaning if you have a minimum number of hours and how productive you are on that particular hours, how effective of course you are working, then you can see that percentage here productivity wise. Yeah, so we will be aiming that, in a day's time, for example, your productivity is at least 90, 88%, 80% and up, instead of this one, meaning you have a lot of idle time. That's why it's showing as 51.92% only. So this is the graphics that I wanted to share with you. In this time you are able to see your unproductive hours, neutral hours, and productive hours in specific time of the day. So it gives you an idea what time of the day you would want to start working, because at that time of the day you are very productive, you are awake, and you are energized and geared up to work. And then of course you could see a time wherein you're slacking and you wanted to just probably sleep or just do something else. So it's also good on a user's perspective to see which time they are most productive, so that the most challenging task that they have for the day, they'll be able to schedule it at that particular hour or time. So in my graph, it shows that around 2 p.m. my time, I am more productive than the earlier time of the day. I'm it's like I'm a night person or an afternoon person, because as you can see, my productivity is higher during the afternoon up until late night. Okay, and what else do we have here? We could also set you could also see, like I've mentioned, your start time and how what time you left or ended your shift, for example, how many hours you work for that day. So that's very good for calendar view. I really like that. If you were absent and you didn't do anything, you didn't clock in, you could easily see that. But you could also say or set it up that, okay, on this day I'll be out of the office, so I won't be working. So if say these two are also valid vacation for you, vacation leave, then you could set it up as an out of office rather than an absent. So they're in all shifts. So these are the shift time. So these are more detailed on a per date basis. You could see your ideal time, offline time, and I think this one, the Toggle doesn't have this one, the productivity apps, wherein you could see what applications, websites your staff or yourself have visited during that particular period, and you'd see that, oh, they've been using Facebook too much because they've, you know, clocking in their 1 hour or 2 hours of Facebook time. So they're if they're using the client's applications, then you could see it here basically, and see how often, how long they are using those applications. Then yeah, the unproductive apps. So usually Facebook, YouTube, it's being read as unproductive apps. So if you are someone who is into social media, then you'd probably be setting this up as a productive app. A productive app, not an unproductive app. The neutral apps would be the, I think, applications that are not, or they be reading it as an app that's not, you know, you use for just your free time. I'm not sure. So I have neutral, so many neutral apps here, and it categorizes. I think you have a section here wherein you can nominate which are the productivity apps, which are your neutral apps. So if you have set that up properly, you'd be able to see, oh, how much emailing do I do on a week basis? How much social media? How much of those office apps am I using? So there, you could easily see those here in under the categories. So this is actually a good um, report or a good graphics or chart. So you'd see, oh, I should be not, you know, wasting time doing emails and stuff like that. I should be using more of the office apps and stuff like that. So there. And yeah, per project basis, you can see there. And here down the bottom, you could go right into different, um, what do you call this? Different sections, or, you know, information that you might need further about desk time. So like I've said a while ago, they have integrations for Trello, which is a task and project management tool, Basecamp, which is a collaboration communication tool for teams, Jira, this is also for project management and task management, as well as Asana. And then if you have Outlook in Google Calendar, you could also integrate test time. So these features that I've been talking about a while ago, automatic time tracking, URL and app tracking, and of course screenshots as you work, or as your freelancers work, they are, you could get screenshots of their desktop or their laptop. Project time tracking, shift scheduling. Let's say if you have, you know, some of your staff doing morning shift, some on the night shift, you could see, oh, what time did you clock in? Were you online by the shift that was scheduled for you, and things like that. And then you could see offline time tracking. You could directly invoice your clients, and then there are feature requests as well. So this is actually a good um, time tracker. Like I've mentioned, if you have subscribed to a free trial, you're able to you know, set up work schedules for your team. So let's say two of your team works in the morning, and then others would work in the evening, so you could schedule there. And you could also schedule their absences, so that at the calendar you could see who is absent in what time, in what day. And what else? Invoicing, of course. This is a premium um, feature. Though there's a workaround there. You could easily just grab a CSV, PDF, or Excel file report of your track time, and then just email it to your client, or manually create another, you know, a more formal professional invoice, and then attach the timesheet report coming from this time. So for the reports, let's see what the reports looks like. So I have here the calendar icon. I could have used that earlier. Okay, so let me see there. So I was able to get a report last December and see that information there, and yeah, you could basically check desk time, offline time, effectiveness, time at work, how long are they are doing their work, productivity bars and stuff. So there. And I wonder where I could download this. Hmm. I wonder where I could download this reports. I haven't really tried that one. Or maybe here. You could see these are just the report, like a dashboard report, but you could do the exporting here at the export section, and then you choose the data that you need. Okay, got it. So let's say if I wanted to see team members working time, arrival times, you could generate this one. If you wanted to see their productivity, you could generate this one. So let's try to do that for one of the reports here. So this is a sample December 2019 report about my team, and I would choose December, and then I probably select all of the team, and even those without or have not been added to a team, and I would probably group by weekly, and let's try to export. So you'd see that it's in Excel format and it's fast in doing the report. And let's see if I could, sorry about that, have a look. Okay, have a look at the report and see how it looks like. Okay, so there's like a weekly, a week 48, 40, 50, 52, since that is December, so that's the, that's actually correct. And which are the teammates that worked on December, and their group, if they are in their admin or stuff, if they have absences, you see their productive time for the whole month, and the unproductive time as well, neutral time, desktop time, offline time, private time, what time they arrive, and what time they left. If they were late, you could also see that. Total time at work, idle time, extra hours, and yeah, even the hourly rate, which you could of course set up there in desk time. And then yeah, so you have a history of your experts, and you could also of course generate a lot of reports here that you might want to see and check out, like productivity. That's also a good report. So there, and then let's go to settings. So you could add and delete members here, you could send invites as well, you could place roles or access, I believe. And for each of those team members, you could set up if they are admin in a marketing or sales or support. So I'll probably put myself under admin, what their phone numbers are. You could create a note, like for example, they are the owner or the CEO. Um, yeah, if they are working in the Philippines or if they're working in the US, you can follow their own time zone. Or if they're gonna be working for just one client, let's say US client, then you could ask them to set this one on a US client's time zone. Not a 24-hour format. I like the 12-hour format. And then the default hourly rate is $7, for example. And you can automate sending the report the next morning or at midnight, something to that effect. And reports come in weekly, so I want it weekly, but sometimes I would probably ask also daily because I want like an end of the day report for my staff. And then you could select which days they should be working and from what time to what time. So mine is actually up until this time, and I'm trying to put like 12 hours of work each day. So here, and but the hours are flexible. So if let's say they are, even if you have this on you as their working days and as their start of work time, they are able to override that default that you've created because they have or they are into a flexible working hour. Now for the group, okay, okay, for the group you could create this another group of you know hours there. Okay, tracking days. Okay, then another group of tracking days. And then, yeah, this is a premium feature wherein you are able to see screen capture of your staff PC. And you can, you know, I think you are the one who should be able to blur the screen capture, but especially if the information is confidential. So there you could see the pop-up there. So just watch that video further to know then the quality of the screen capture and how often you want the screen capture be done, like 15 minutes interval. You could enable and disable URL, titles of the document, private time, calendar syncing, turning off mouse. So offline time, if it's enabled, that's okay. In most cases, yeah, I think you should be able to enable your offline time. And what else? Yeah, this one. Settings about work schedule, screenshots, colleagues, and project costs. So there. So see, there's a lot of features, additional features that you will have here at this time as compared to that of Toggle. So one good example, the URL and the document and the window title tracking, the shifts, the in and outs time, and integrations with different apps as well that's not found or not included in the integrations of Toggle. And yeah, and then I like this one, an automated sending of email reports. Toggle though, they also have that. It's I think that's a default. You don't have to put that in any of your settings. You could easily see the end of the day reports and weekly reports in your email without even having to set it up. But if you have, sometimes you don't want many emails, so it's good that you have choices, which this time have given you there. Okay, so accounts. So here's the account, apps productivity. So I think this is where you, yeah, you could, probably, like I've mentioned before, if you're in social media, of course, your productivity app should be Facebook and other social media sites. But in an earlier, I've shown you earlier that it's not in the productivity apps, rather, it's in the neutral app or unproductive app. So you may want to do that here in this section, but it's a paid feature. Integrations, categories, let's see. IP restrictions, just to, I think that's to make sure that it is the staff that's doing the task and not being outsourced to somebody else. So it's good that you have that IP restrictions. And so as you can see here, it says here IP restrictions feature will allow to track time only from specific IP addresses. So let's say you know that your VA is working in Quezon City, and let's say she suddenly outsourced that particular task or project to someone in Mindanao, then definitely you will be, alerted, and that particular person in Mindanao won't be able to time track because the IP address is different from the VE staff or the freelancer whom you contracted to work on that project and who is living in Manila or Quezon City. So you can set up the IP restrictions there, which is a good idea actually. Only while the employee is connected to the internet with one of the specified IP addresses, either home, office, or maybe a cafe nearby in case of um, electricity or internet downtime. So you could ask those information from your staff or your freelancer, set it up here so that they cannot outsource it to someone else. They're the ones who needs to do the task. So see, there are a lot of more I mean meaningful and at the same time more useful features in this time. It's actually jam packed with all of those features. So the other one that I would like to also share is Screenshot Monitor. I think I've used this just quite recently, around early March or so. I'm not sure. And there you could easily see what your staff is doing, and I could easily see if she's doing her task or not. Okay, you have Google. Okay, this was when I asked someone to do a citation for me, so I could see that. And we also share a calendar task, so I could see that here. Mm, okay. So yeah, we're using LastPass, we're using Canva in our client. So yep, seems she's working just fine. She's not actually, yeah. And she actually worked a lot here around this hour, around this time. On March 18, she worked here around 9:30 perhaps to maybe past 12. And you could see here the task and which project or client she was doing, which is good. So yep, and then you have, of course, have this report summary, you have your teams here. Specify the roles of your team, which project they need to clock in. Okay, what else? Yeah. So I have some slack time in between. I do take breaks once in a while. So there. So we also have here. I know. So what else do we have? Like, okay, projects. Of course, it's easy for you to set it up. Assign it to members like that. Create a new one. So if we say you deleted a project, it will be reassigned. The time in the screenshot will be reassigned to an empty project. And once you have archived your project, your staff will not be able to track time against it. But the data is still there in the reports. So you could also set up clients here. Then you'd assign a project to this client. That there. And this one, let's see. There. And then what else? Okay, what are the other settings that we have here? Yeah, this one, this is good because you don't have to pay for it, and it does give you screenshots of your staff work. You could also individually set it. Like for example, this one is you know that she has a history of slacking, so maybe increase the number of screenshots there. You disallow blur because there's a pop-up that would say would you be blurring this image or something like that, so you disallow it. And yeah, you if you don't need someone to have a screenshot, then you could easily just turn it off. Now activity level, yeah, you need to track the mouse and the keyboard. So this is a good also way of tracking if they're working productively. And that's how most of the time trackers analyze the productivity through the keyboard and mouse activity. And it's good that you could also track the app or the URL they are using. And this is also one that I would really like to have. You could set up like an hour. Like for example, I wanted this VA staff that I have to only work 12 hours in a week. So I could limit, you know, ask her to clock in only 12 hours, and if it's going to be beyond 12 hours, a notification will be sent to her saying that she's already used up the 12 hours limit for the week. Which reminds me, I should be giving this to one of my staff because I really wanted for her to be reminded that she cannot go beyond the 12-hour work week. Auto pause, let's say the user or your staff is inactive for about 5 minutes, their time tracking would automatically pause. And once they get back, you need to remind them that they need to manually activate again their time tracker. Otherwise, if they go back and they didn't um, activate again their time tracker, and they start working again, then the time where they work will not be time tracked, and so you cannot pay them. So you can set something up for this one. And yeah, I don't like to for them to add offline time, because we are always online, and the only reasons I would think of if they go offline is when, let's say, they had an internet or electricity issue and they work. They need to track their time, of course, or if they are doing the project via their mobile. So I think screenshot monitoring would probably have a mobile app as well, so that they could still track their time even on mobile. So there's a few cases where you would want to, if especially if you're in the virtual work, you would want that only the online time of your staff will be tracked. So this one is when you know there's a pop-up, you're working and there's a pop-up saying, is it okay now to take the screenshot? And your staff would say, okay, go ahead, and then they'll push an accept button somewhere there on the pop-up, and the screenshot will be created. Now, I don't want them to be bothered by that, so I opted not to notify them and just keep on doing the screenshot as as a background activity for my apps, and the apps doesn't have to notify them. And then, okay, the week starts, it depends on you guys if you would want. Yeah, it seems like it's a setting for all users. So if all of you guys be working on a Monday, then that's the start of your week. Currency symbol, yeah, if you are paying them off in peso, in dollar. So these are more of an application settings. Yeah, okay. So there, I think that one gives screenshot, this one, the activity level, APL, weekly, time limit, auto pause. These settings really give screenshot a really good deal of topping my list, because mainly they are available even on a free version. So even if you are on a free version, these settings are available. So that makes screenshot monitor the top of my list. So probably by next week, I'll be asking one of my staff to use screenshot monitor, and yeah, so that I could track her time further than what we are using now in Toggle. So there. And yep. And lastly is Clockify. Clockify is one of the time tracking tools that I use with an outsourcing company I work with. And we are using this because we are already getting bigger in that company. We're having a lot of clients as well. And like Toggle, Clockify can allow you to track your time via their website. So there's a web tracker. They also have a Chrome browser extension, and I believe they also have a desktop version, but I didn't put it here because I usually use the Chrome browser. So similarly to Toggle, you just put your task there, make it billable, and you select the task of or the project. And then in your dashboard, you could easily see how much time you have for the week or for the day. So see the graphs there, it's very pleasing to the eye. And my clients are base color, color coded. So if I have several clients I'm working on several clients, should see different colors there. Now reports, yeah, the usual summary, detail, weekly, and you could save particular weeks of report. Projects, yeah, similar to Toggle, and the rest of the time tracker that I have used. You could provide specific access. You could provide the hourly rate that you pay to each of those staff. You could provide manager role, so that, for example, this particular individual also needs to manage the settings and the reports. So you could nominate who will be the manager of that particular project. The private and public is when private means that particular project is only visible to these individuals. So those who are not part of this project, they won't be able to see that in their time tracker. Status is like how much is billable and how much is non-billable. And then, of course, the calculation will be based on what you have put here. Then if you have further notes about that particular project, of course, you could assign it to a client. You should assign it to a client. Make color code so that, late a while ago I shown you the dashboard and how graphics could show you different levels of your activity for each of those clients. And by default, you could say yes, all of the time spent to this project is billable, and this is the project hourly rate. So this is the rate we bill to the client. And we also have task-based, or just a manual estimation. So let's see, let's see 160 per month. I'm not sure. And then there's some additional feeds here for the enterprise. So overall, let's say a project would only consume about 160 hours or 1 month, then you could estimate it, put it here. But if, let's say, it's an ongoing project, like this one is actually an ongoing project, and something that you don't want to set any manual fixed hours, then you go for the task-based estimate. Then of course the team, you'd see which team works in which project, their email, their hourly rate, if they have the VA access, the recruitment, there. So what else? Also group, you could group your members who are the admins. So these are the admin people. These are the people who are in the recruitment, and these are the freelancers. Okay, and then reminders, this is a paid feature. So if they track time which is less than 8 hours per week, so yeah, you could be notified, hey, you didn't do the 8 hours per week or the 40 hours per week. So you could set that reminder here. Now clients, like I've mentioned, just the names there, and alerts, it's a premium feature. Let's say you're working on a project and it's almost nearing 50%, where in fact you should only be doing or timing or clocking in time for 20%, then that's an alert that you could put there. So the accounts, yeah, this is an enterprise. So you, in Clockify, you could create a subdomain, like for example mycompany.clockify.me. So it's more personalized, more professional looking, rather than just clockify.me or something. At least you could set your company's name in here. Then you could also have logo. It's more personalized. Then of course there are additional custom fields that you could add, but those are enterprise features already. I could add logo for my own company here. So this one, the one that we're in, okay. So SSO button. So that's different. I thought we're talking about this one. So the company logo, yeah, they could still be uploaded here. And you don't want to activate this one unless you would allow your staff to do a like a manual weekly time entry like this one. So that's the timesheet, and they could, you know, manually override that. And I don't like that. Okay, so I don't turn that on. Workspace, hourly rate and currency. So if yeah, this is the standard billable rate to the client. New projects by default you could set as billable, and private like I've already told you before. And only the admins can see the billable rates. You could group your projects by client. You may want to have a full look of your hours, like you want to include the seconds. If not, then choose the compact. Only admins, I like only the admins can create projects and tags. They could, your staff, if they're working on different projects, they could put a favorite mark on it, or the ones that where they are working the most. And then in the project picker, you could easily see the task filter. So I already turned that on. Then there are additional features that are actually standard and should be a required feature, like when you allow your users to only see their time, or like you allow to see them all of the team's time. I don't like this part because it's a default. I would like to have that only their own time is visible to them. And I would like also this one to be like included in the free version at least, so that you could require people to always put a project and a task and a description. I don't mind the tag, but those three are the most important parts of the time tracker that I would want them to fill out. And then, like I mentioned earlier, you don't want your staff manually editing or tampering or manipulating their time, especially their old time. So you may want to lock entries. Okay, but then those are paid features. And if you want your users to just see their time tracker and dashboard and reports, and you don't want them to look at the projects and the team, then you could do that here. However, this is also a paid feature. I like this part actually. I didn't see this one in the others, wherein you could nominate which are the items that needs to be shown to the staff. So I like this part. The rest of the paid features here can also be found in screenshot and in desk time. And actually these ones are free in screenshot monitoring. But this one, the others don't have this one, wherein you can nominate which of the menu in the sidebar they could actually just see. So I think that's enough for me to, give you an idea of which of these time tracking tools you would probably use for your business. And again, it depends on your business. It depends on your goals, on how you use your time tracker and how you want the information to be used. So I leave it up to you. I'm giving down the links to this particular time tracker on the comment section or in the description section. So just look for it. And yeah, I do wish you luck in finding the most suitable time tracking tool for your business. Thank you, guys.